know that most of the country artists you know and love today got their starts in places called honky tonks? That's right. Patsy Cline, Ernest Tubb, all of them. Honky tonks are an important stop in the careers of some of the brightest country stars. And the music you'll find in honky tonks is like none other on the American landscape. Designed to get your feet tapping and your mind off your troubles, this is music you can't sit down to. Hosted by Bill Anderson, this series features tons of your favorite country music legends as they tell their favorite honky tonk stories, sing their favorite honky tonk songs, all on a collection we're calling Country's Family Reunion Honky Tonk. Come on in.
Hail, hail, the gang's all here for a Country's Family Honky Tonk Reunion. I love those bright lights and country music. Well, I won't stay home and cry tonight like all the nights before. I've just learned that I don't really need you anymore. I found a little place downtown where guys like me can go, and they've got bright lights and country music. Bright lights and country music, a bottle and a glass. Soon I'll be forgetting that there ever was a past. And when everybody asks me what helped me forget so fast, I'll say bright lights and country music. The table by the bandstand, a bottle filled with wine. Honky tonks were made for men with women on their mind. Nothing else can take away this loneliness of mine, quite like bright lights and country music. Bright lights and country music, a bottle and a glass. Soon I'll be forgetting that there ever was a past. And when everybody asks me what helped me forget so fast, I'll say bright lights and country music. 'Cause I love those bright lights and country music. Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you for singing along with me. I need all the help I can get, and everybody's in the honky tonk, bright lights, and country music mode. Ronda Vincent, when you sang that song, and bless your heart, you've done it, the line about honky tonks were made for men with women on their... You guys agree with that? Were honky tonks made for men with women on their mind? How did you sing that?
Honky tonks were made for girls with lovin' on their mind. Oh. And I called you
like
when I
that
got ready to record it.
You should sing it that way.
I'm going to go back and sing it that way. Yeah.
That's good.
I'm going to come over here to my little honky tonk sweetheart sitting here at my table, Jeannie Saley. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I have been looking forward to this show because I love honky tonks. And I love jukeboxes, and I have to be honest, though. I don't know if any of the other artists feel this way, but I always like going to honky tonks better than I liked working them. Did anybody else
I'd
ever
rather be
feel-
dancing, that's why.
Yeah, I'd rather be dancing. I look out there. It's good to see you doing something that makes people have a good time, but still, I love to go to a good honky tonk. Cold beer and a loud jukebox, baby.
Or a loud band up on the
Yeah,
stage.
loud band, loud
I
band.
decided last night, I knew we were going to do this, and I looked up in the dictionary. I wanted to see if honky tonk was in the dictionary. And if it was, I wanted to see what it said. So I went back and got an old Webster's dictionary, and actually it had it in there. It said honky tonk is a cheap, noisy bar or dance hall. And then it went on to say it's also a type of ragtime music that's usually played on a tinny old piano. And then I went to Wikipedia, you know, the new thing on the internet, and it even talked more than that about the honky tonks, and even called some names. It named people like Webb Pierce and Farron Young, Loretta Lynn, Ernest Tubb, people who were known for coming up through the honky tonk circuit on their way to the big time.
I was going to say, old Webster had been at some of the ones I've worked.
I think it was the Wikipedia one that said not just a tinny old piano, said a tinny old, often out of tune piano.
Well,
We've all been there too.
Wikipedia was there too. Whatever you bought
We've
a
all
ticket.
played the honky tonks, but I don't think there's but one of us here that has ever actually owned a honky tonk. Did you know that Mo Bandy used to own a honky tonk?
Yeah.
I
He
did.
did. You and Joe Stampley had
rightly
one together,
so.
didn't you?
Me and Joe had Mo and Joe's Honky Tonk, and right outside of Houston, Texas, and we had it there back during the Urban Cowboy deal. We did really well. We had instead of a mechanical bull, we had a mechanical armadillo.
Wouldn't that hurt?
We had it set where you get a seat on him, but they had the. You remember the show You Asked For It? Somebody wrote in and wanted to see me ride the mechanical armadillo, and I came in there one night after a show about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I rode that armadillo till 6 in the morning. I couldn't walk for a week with that armadillo.
Couldn't get off.
Tell me what it's like on the other side, running a honky tonk. What did you have to worry about every morning when you woke up?
Well, it was fun. I lived in San Antonio, and it was in Houston, but we had some good folks running it and everything, and they did a good job. But it was really neat to see this place build, and it did build up. It was really good crowds, and we had a lot of the Houston Oilers back then, the football players would come in here, and we had more fun with those guys. Man, we used to have a ball, and maybe they were at our place a little late in the morning and had to play the next day. So we had to, if they lost, we figured we did it, you know. But
Well, did you and Joe play there a lot? Did y'all?
we played there quite a bit. We sure did. And we had a lot of fun there. Joe and I would come in often. And it's kind of a good feeling to play a place with your own name on it, you know. But when a fight would break out, you'd feel like going out there and breaking it up, but I didn't do that. I did not do that kind of thing.
You let Joe do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe, go break up the fight.
Yeah, I would do that. Joe, you go do that over there.
How large your club was it? Was it as big as like Gillies?
No, it wasn't that big, but it would hold, I'd say 700-800 people. Pretty good sized club. And, we used to have fun.
Did you book any of the guest artists in there?
I had people that did that, yes, but we had a lot of guests in there, a lot of people.
I played it, Bill.
Did you?
Yeah, I played it twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, Eddie Raven played it,
It
and
was
that was great.
It was neat. And I tried to pick a fight with Joe, but he didn't go for that.
Piano and
I lost your phone number.
Eddie,
Yes, sir.
you played there. Jeannie wants to know if the piano was in tune.
Well, it was till Buck got a hold of it. He retuned it.
The armadillo was in tune, I know that. Yeah. But, you know, we played there, and speaking of, we can't have a honky-tonk show without speaking of fights. You know, you just can't do it. And I was taught years ago, played in a place in Austin, Skyline Club, and this old boy that run it called me offside, and he said, "Let me tell you something, boy." He said, "When a fight breaks out, you play something fast." Yeah. He said, "'Cause them cowboys rather dance a fast song and fight." And so the fight would break out, and we'd, no. We'd play every fast song we knew, you know. But
I saw one night where the fight broke out, and it got so bad they told us to play the national anthem. That'll stop them. Sing us a honky-tonk song, Mo Bandy.
I'll do it. I was going to play my guitar, but I thought I'd work the room, see? You do that with honky tonks, you know, you work the room a little bit. Here's one of my favorites. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Hey, sweet baby, don't you think maybe we can find us a brand new recipe? I got a hot rod bolt and a $2 bill. I know a spot right over the hill. There's sort of pop and dancing free. If you wanna have fun, come along with me. Hey, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Oh, listen, it's a great band. About saving all your time for me. No more looking, I know I've been cooking. How's about keeping steady company? I'm gonna throw my date book over the fence. Buy me one for 5 or 10 cents. I'll keep it till it's covered with age, 'cause I'm writing your name down on every page. Hey, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up with me? Thank you. Thank you very much. Bill, can I tell you one more story?
Please.
I played this place years ago, one of these honky tonks, and I'd had several records out. And we pulled up back this place, and this old boy who worked for me opened the back door, and he said, "I think this place on fire." And it was just smoke coming out of this place. But anyway, we went in there and played it. And you know how they dance in a circle? They go around and come around in a circle. And they always go this way. I don't know why. Why is that? They go that way.
They don't do reverse dancing.
No, they don't do that backwards dancing. And this old boy danced around there, and I was up on stage, he danced through, and he said, "Desperado." And he danced a circle, and he come back, "Desperado." He come back again about 3 times. "Desperado." I said, "I don't know Desperado." He kept dancing off every time. And my band ribbed me all the time. "Let's do Desperado." But anyway, we had some kick it off. No. But anyway, we had some good times. We really did.
I'm sure everybody in this room can tell honky-tonk stories. David Friselle, you're bound to have some honky-tonk stories. Growing up as the younger brother of Lefty Friselle, who was the king of the honky-tonk singers. And
Man, I started working with him when I was just a kid. I wasn't supposed to be in them honky-tonks, but I was there anyway. And I was working with him. He worked, it seemed like in those days there was a lot of honky-tonks, like especially in Texas. I mean, every block there was one on each corner. And he worked every one of those places, and just getting him in and out of one of them was a trick. But I remember 1956, I started working with him full time. I did all the driving, you know, and I make sure the guitars are all in tune, you know. And I made sure the beer was cold, you know. Yeah. And I did everything a 5-year-old kid could do. You know, I did. You know, we had a great time. Working with him was a lot of people in here know him, very, you know, you for one. And he was an absolute mess. He didn't fight his way in or out. You know, Cotton Club. We was talking to Mo, the Cotton Club in Lubbock.
Lubbock.
Wow. I mean, you didn't even have to. You'd just be up there trying to sing. They would. That one night I was telling Mo, this one lady, she was good size, about 3 times bigger than me, and she was getting the fight going out there, and the stage was about 5 or 6 foot high, you know, and she was hitting everybody with the chair, you know. She just clubbing people. And finally, and I looked back, and I already did a few songs, and I looked back and Lefty was standing back and said, no. As a matter of fact, then she threw the chair on the bandstand and hit the drums, knocked the drums all over the place, and he said, show's over, let's go. He never even went out there. But we had a great time. Working with him was a trip.
Did you ever play one of them places where they check you when you came in the door to see if you was carrying a knife or a gun? If you weren't, they gave you one?
I remember playing, I think, a place in Tulsa. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. The Academy, Cain's Academy was the name of it. And backstage they had in the back there they had this chicken wire across the back, and they had one in front, I think. That's where they really needed it. But was back there, and Lefty kept feeding the drummer some vodka. He'd have a drink, and then he'd give him one, you know. Pretty soon, well, he fell out off the stage, you know. His drummer fell off, so we had to do the show without him. But Lefty thought it was so funny, he didn't need a drummer anyway, you know. Like, we can do this without him. Well, we're going to have to, because there he is. He just fell right out of the back of that chicken thing. Well, just some funny stuff.
How about singing one of those great Lefty Friselle
honky tonk songs? You want a honky tonk, do you?
Yeah.
Well, all right, in that case. All right. Oh, my God. We used to have some good times. And I remember playing this particular song with Lefty a lot of times. And I think this was the first one. I think this was his first #1 song, probably about 1950. And in 2008, me and Merle Haggard did a duet on this thing. And you was on that show, I remember. And me and Merle, I can't say Merle. Me and Merle did If You Got the Money, Got the Time. You want to hear that?
You bet.
Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, you got the money, I got the time. We'll go honky tonk, gonna have a time. Hey, bring along your Cadillac, leave me on wreck behind. You got the money, honey, I got the time. Well, there ain't no use in tarrying. Let's start out tonight. We'll spread joy, boom, spread it right. We'll have more fun, baby, all the way down the line. Hey, you got the money, honey, I got the time. We'll go honky tonk, we'll make every club in town. We'll go to the park where it's dark, gonna fool around. Hey, you run short on money, I run short on time. You with no more money, honey, got no more time. Well, you got the money, honey, I got the time. We'll go honky tonkin', gonna have a time. Hey, bring along your Cadillac, leave my whole wreck behind. Now, you got the money, I got the time. One more. You got the money, honey, I've got the time.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
David Friselle, great job. I believe this band has played in a honky tonk a time or two.
I don't believe they need a chart. They don't need a chart on any of that.
No, they know it pretty well by heart.
Yeah.
They really do. What is it, and I'm going to address this to Jan Howard, because I know you started singing when you were in California, and I know you played a lot of the honky tonks and nightclubs and things around Los Angeles and in Southern California. How different, of course, I don't know if you'd know how different it was compared to a guy, but a girl playing in a honky tonk probably faces challenges that the guys don't face. Talk about that.
Well, sometimes. I put them straight pretty quick.
Did you carry a big stick on the stage?
What?
Did you carry a big stick up on the stage?
No, but I had some good guys behind me. That, you know, a lot of Wayne Stewart's band. And they pretty well adopted me, and besides that, I wasn't the new girl singer in town, really. I mean, I was, but I wasn't. I was married to Harlan, and I had 3 little boys, so they all kind of adopted the boys and me, and we were all friends. So I never had any problem. Sometimes one time when you and I were working together, and we were working in Cleveland or somewhere, and the DJ there, we had also met him at another show that he had been co-hosting or not emceeing, and he asked me to go out to dinner. We were staying over that night, and 2 of the band stepped up and said, "Where are we going?" So he took all 3 of us to dinner. But yeah, I've worked in all of them. Am I up next?
Did you, when you were playing in the honky tonks and everything, did you have bodyguards and stuff?
Yeah, I had them stay away from me most of the time, not interrupt my action. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, sometimes you did, but mostly, when I was in Southern California, I was like Jan. I knew all the musicians around that I worked with, and so they were all like brothers, just like they are today. But after Don't Touch Me hit and I started flying out to different shows and working, who helped me the most were the local disc jockeys. And they would quite often pick me up at the airport, and we'd do some station promos or interviews or whatever, and quite often the disc jockey then went to the clubs with me.
Sitting there looking at Sharon and Cheryl White. You just took Daddy with you, right?
Yes, and he's a great deterrent to anybody coming around making an eye.
Yeah, but did you hear what I told Cheryl earlier? I said, you got the only daddy who won't walk the line.
He played the honky tonks when we were little girls living in North Texas, so he knew what they were, and how they could be, so he was very protective. Yeah. All he had to do is give that one look that he can do. He's not doing it today.
He's being stubborn. Oh, there he goes.
It worked. It worked.
How about a song from Jan?
Yeah, I got to tell you one more story about the honky tonks too. I was working I think a lot of people here have worked the Playroom in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I was down there, and they had a convention of bull riders in town.
Oh my goodness.
And the band were pretty good, but they weren't going to mess with these bull riders. And they would go on out there dancing up a storm, but they all kept their hats on. And the owner came up and he said, "Would you please tell those guys to take their hats off?" I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Have you looked at those guys?" And he said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Well, in that case, you come up here and tell them to take their hats off. I'm not about to." And so he wouldn't do it. So they did dance all night with their hats on. And one in particular, his name was Goat Mullis. And he stood right up next to the bandstand. Goat Mullis, I couldn't see over him, but I wasn't about to. I'd walk around him. But most of them were fun. Yeah. They were nice. I'm going to do a song called I'd Rather Be the One You Slip Around With.
Yeah.
George Jones used to say, sing that song, I'd rather be the one you sleep around with. And I said, no. That's your version, honey. This one's mine.
Of that. I love it.
I had the key to heaven when we married, and for a while I brought you happiness. But now your love for me is dead and buried, and every night you share another's kiss, and I'd rather be the one you slip around with than be the one whose dream of love is gone. Yes, I'd rather be the one you spend your time with than be the one at home all alone. That's the truth. Been there, done that. Deep down inside, I know that I should leave you. How many tears must fall before I learn? I think of many ways that I could grieve you, and yet I'm always here when you return. But I'd rather be the one you slip around with than be the one whose dream of love is gone. Yes, I'd rather be the one you spend your time with than be the one at home all alone.
Dan Howard, great song, great job. When the band was playing the turnaround there, I got to wonder, how many of you guys did what we did, and you had one arrangement maybe for a song if you were doing a concert in an auditorium where you kind of had to keep things moving, or when you were playing in a honky tonk and they were dancing and you added. The band used to love when we played the clubs because instead of just doing a turnaround, we'd play 2 or 3 verses. Yeah. Did you guys do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bet you do.
A lot of them shaking their head yes, because a lot of them worked with you or still do.
We got people here today that have never been to our family reunions before. Junior Brown's out there, and
Hey,
Dale
Junior,
Watson,
right,
and I'm going to leave out some Becky Hobbs.
Yeah,
and
love that girl.
old boy over there from Texas and California. We never crossed paths a whole lot. I'm talking about Tony Booth. But I found out yesterday when we came in for rehearsal, you and I've got a lot in common.
Yes, we do.
We're both left-handed, and we're both baseball junkies.
There you go. That's right.
Man, you've made some great music in your time. Most of your career was spent in California, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was one of the Bakersfield bunch, and I moved to Texas about 30 years ago, so that's as close as I got to Nashville.
They don't have any honky tonks in Texas, do they?
1 or 2.
You still playing a lot?
Oh, yeah. Talking about stories and stuff, I got to listening to Willie's Place a few years back, and it seemed to me like it was all about the honky tonk. And I thought, the best way to get an airplay is to record something about honky tonks. So I run off about 3 songs that had honky tonk in the title, and it worked.
As a marketing man.
I've heard you on Willie's Place a lot. You call in and talk to the different
Dallas Wayne.
Dallas Wayne on there. Dallas is our buddy. He takes care of a lot of us that have the old records and the traditional country records. We need to get Dallas up here on the show one day.
We should. He's a great one.
Yeah, he could tell a story or two.
You know, I was just thinking when we was talking about Mo and Joe's place there, I flew in from California and I worked in Texas all the time. That's why I finally moved there. But somebody said, let's go out to Mo and Joe's. So we went out there. It was during the week, and there was a cover charge. Oh man, I never seen a club that charged you a cover charge when there wasn't a star there. It was just a house band. So nevertheless, I paid my $3 or whatever it was, $4. I'm kind of a low-key guy, not one of them, do you know who I am and all that. So I'm sitting in there, and somebody told the manager that I was there. And he come over and asked me if I'd sit in. And I said, I never sit in a place where I have to pay to get in. He said, if I give you your $3 back, will you sit in? I said, yeah. And he did, and I did.
Mo ran a tight ship, I'm telling you.
Yeah, Mo, that's going a little overboard.
He gave you your money back?
He did.
How many songs did you sing?
That's funny.
No wonder you closed that place down.
No wonder we closed it, yeah.
Sorry, Mo.
How many years was your club actually open?
We had, I guess, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And it was at a real good time. It's during the urban cowboy thing. And country music was, really booming back then. And Joe and I, it was a lease deal where Joe and I lent our name to it, but we were involved quite a bit with it. But it was really a popular spot there north of Houston, and we had some great times out there. But we and had, like I say, Tony Booth would come out and we give him his money back. But, we had a lot of entertainers would come out all the time and hang out there. And like I say, a lot of the Houston Oilers, a lot of the athletes.
Whatever happened to the Houston Oilers, Mo?
They happened to be in a little town called Nashville now. Yeah, and I used
Tennessee Titans, yeah.
The Titans, yeah. And I used to run with them quite a bit, and we would always end up at the Mo and Joe Club, And
why?
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you charge him to get in?
Yeah, I charged him. Yeah. I could get in free, but I didn't. I was. Who's going to tell one of them big football players you can't get in free? That's a thing. But yeah, we had some great times out there.
Tony, how about a good honky tonk song from you?
Yeah.
I'll be happy to.
Thank you, Bill. This is a song that we did, we celebrated the 41st year of the release, and it's still requested all the time, I'm happy to say. This is an old Harlan Howard song, as a matter of fact.
I made the demo on it.
Yes, Jan did the demo. So that still has it, right? I think all the keys in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Oh, jealous me and careless you, the odds were just too great. And I couldn't take those lonely nights you made me sit and wait. And I thought I seen the last of you when you walked out of sight. Instead, I see you in my dreams each night. So the keys in the mailbox, come on in. I'm sitting here wishing, dear, I had your love again. And I'll never even ask you where you've been. So the keys in the mailbox, come on in. than share your company. I said, don't come around at all if you want more than me. Sitting here alone, I can't deny the flame that burns. And I'll gladly take you back on any term. So the keys and the mailbox, come on in. I'm sitting here wishing, dear, I had your love again. And I'll never even ask you where you've been. So the keys and the mailbox, come on in. So the keys and the mailbox, come on in. Thank you, appreciate it.
Tony Booth, great job, man.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, David.
I remember back when Tony and I was both working with the Buck Owens people out of Bakersfield, and a lot of music came out of Bakersfield during those days. And Tony and I was up in, flew into to Portland, and then we had to go to another spot. So I had a little plane about the size of these two tables, and they was flying out of Portland, going wherever that was. And that little plane was all over the sky. I mean, it was here for a while, then it'd be like this for a while. And Tony finally looked at me and he said, you know, I only got into country music for the girls. That stuck with me all these years.
I remember that flight well. It wasn't powerful enough to get up above the canyon walls. So we actually flew down the canyon. You remember that? Oh, man.
I was with Roger Miller, first time he ever heard the keys in the mailbox, and he listened to it, and the song was over. He said, that guy sure must have had a big mailbox. Come on in. Only Roger would have said that. I was mentioning to people that haven't been here, sitting next to Tony Booth, our friend Billy Yates. Billy, good to see you. I didn't mean to leave you out over there.
Hey, man.
We'll listen to you sing in a little while.
It's great to be here.
John Conley?
Yes, sir.
It's a long way from working in the funeral home to picking in a honky tonk.
I know. But however, the funeral director's license can come in handy at the honky tonk. If they get too far gone, I'm your guy.
There's one too many.
Any honky tonks in around Versailles, Kentucky?
No, not a pool room. When I was growing up, there were a couple of pool rooms that operated as close to a honky tonk as we got. They never had live music, and I wasn't allowed to go in them unless it was on a call. And I did that more than once. But at any rate, no, we didn't have any around Kentucky. But I made up for lost time. I spend more time in Texas than any other state. In the music career, and as we all have discussed and all know, Texas is the king of the honky tonks.
Tell me a Texas honky tonk story. You're bound to have one.
I'm the world's worst at remembering stories. If I could have my road manager here, he could tell me what time we had supper on a certain night.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you the thing that it still gets my attention, and probably everybody here has experienced this, but they're dancing out on the floor, and every now and then there's somebody dancing on the floor who does not know how to dance. And they're doing some kind of funny gyration, and inevitably I will focus on that person. And it's all I can do to keep from breaking up in the middle of some song, man. It's unreal. And they dance every dance. They dance every dance.
I think that's why I learned to sing with my eyes closed.
That's right.
Don't laugh, don't laugh.
And it's usually the guy, right, John?
It's always the guy. Yeah, absolutely. Always the guy. And he's having fun, too, I'm telling you. Nobody, that's one of the neat things about it. Nobody's having more fun than that guy. It's just unbelievable. It's great. Well, one of the neat things about honky tonks and music in general, as far as I'm concerned, are waltzes. I love them, and this may be the greatest waltz of all time. My dad's favorite singer was Ernest Tubb.
Woo-hoo.
And E.T., well, he knew the honky tonks and he sure knew how to sing. We're going to do Waltz Across Texas.
When we dance together, my world's in disguise. It's a fairyland tale that's come true. And when you look at me with those stars in your eyes, I could waltz across Texas with you. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a storybook ending, I'm lost in your charms, and I could waltz across Texas with you. All right, boy. Jimmy. My heartaches and trouble are just up and gone the moment that you come in view. And with your hand in mine, dear, I could dance on and waltz across Texas with you. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. Waltz across Texas with you. Like a storybook ending, I'm lost in your charm, and I could waltz across Texas with you.
John Conley, great job.
You know, Bill, he was talking about watching the people dance out there. There's something unique about in Texas, and there must be an art to it, how they can dance with their long neck beer bottle in their back pockets, you know, and never spill. I mean, I've watched them out there dancing. They'll dip that girl, but never spill that long neck bottle. You Texans, how do you do that?
Drink it down half bottle. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's the only thing missing on this set. We need maybe water, but we need those long neck bottles to make this look like a honky tonk.
Somebody told me yesterday they were going to have little girls in red boots coming through here serving us. They must have missed their wake-up call or something.
Kind of early. It's too early for those honky tonk girls.
We can't let Waltz Across Texas pass without acknowledging the guy. Did you play on that record? The great Leon Rhodes, who was with the Ernest Stubb Texas Troubadours for so many years.
Yeah, Leon. Tell them about the acoustic guitar instead of electric. Tell them how you used acoustic guitar. Talked Ernest into it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, he was going to do that Waltz Across Texas, and he looked at me and said, "You got the intro." And I said, "Well, I can't play the guitar, the electric guitar on that one." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Why can't you?" And I said, "Because I'm hearing a flat top playing." And he said, "Well, son, go ahead and do it your way."
Yeah. And the rest is history. Eh?
It is history.
Jimmy Cap said, do that famous Leon run there. Oh, really? How many years did you play with Ernest Tubb?
A little fancy.
103.
He's still playing with him.
No, I worked with him about 9 years.
And I would venture to say probably 85 to 90% of the jobs that you played were in the honky tonks, weren't they? 'Cause,
Most of them, yes.
yeah.
We did play a lot of shows, though.
But you guys were known in those days. I mean, you were the band. You were the band that every band tried to be because of the great music that you played. And you not only backed up Ernest, but my goodness, you had a guy named Jack Green in the band and one named Cal Smith and y'all just...
Buddy Charlton.
Buddy Charlton, yeah. You guys made...
Buddy Emmons, he was there.
Whatever happened to him? He was on our show the other day, so I'm only joking. But I noticed you got a guitar sitting next to you, so before this honky tonk salute is over, we're going to hear Leon Rhodes play some guitar, right?
I'm going to play a little bit.
I know you play just a little bit. Man plays a lot. Yeah. Daryle McCall, you hop around them honky tonks in Texas like nobody else. I bet you've got a million stories.
I was just listening to John sing that waltz, and it reminded me one night, we were out in a little place called Monahan's, and I think Hank was playing fiddle with me at the time. It was an old VFW hall, and there was no bandstand. You just stood in the corner of the room and you sung, and they came up eyeball to eyeball and requested songs. And a lot of those old boys were all oil field workers, and all they came in there for was to drink and fight. So when they requested a song, you usually had to do it. So one night we were playing, and this old boy walked up to me eyeball to eyeball, and he said, "Sing the Tennessee Waltz." I said, "I was waltzing with my darling to the Tennessee Waltz." I sung it all the way through. We went on ahead another 15 or 20 minutes, and came up to me again. He said, "Sing the Bandera Waltz." I said, "I was waltzing with my darling to the Bandera Waltz." A little bit later, he walked up and said, "Sing the Blue Skirt Waltz." I was waltzing with my old blue skirt waltz. And at the end of the night, we were all sacking our instruments up, and he was standing right at the edge of where we had our instruments, and I heard him over talking to this other guy, and he said, "You see that son of a bitch over there?" He said, "You can't stump him on a waltz. He
That's a great story, man. Oh, that's great.
I see my guitar sitting up there. I guess I better get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's your cue.
You know, Bill, I was raised up in South Texas, and Daryle played quite a bit around there, and I got to know him real well. But boy, the people love him out there. And before I got a record, I used to go out to his shows and sit there and look at him. You know, he probably thought, "Who is this guy?" But I always loved Daryle, and he's one of the best singers I know.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. This is a little tune I wrote a long time ago when I was working with the great Ray Price. And we were in a little town out in West Texas called Sweetwater. You know where that's at, don't you? But anyway, we had an early show, and Ray said, "Boys, we're going to stay in a motel tonight." And we just couldn't believe it. Buddy Emmons, myself, and a few of us. We said, "Well, hey, we'll just go pick a little bit, you know." I don't think we even cracked the sheets on them beds that night. We took a couple old yellers and got our instruments out, and we went in a motel, and Buddy said, "You know, it'd be a lot better if we had a case of beer." And I said, "Yeah, let's get a cab driver." And we got this cab driver, and he said, "Boys, I hate to tell you this, but Sweetwater's dry." So the only thing we could do is kind of sit there and look at one another, and it inspired this little song idea that I wrote. And they're still playing this thing. Dallas Wayne plays it every once in a while on Sirius XM. It's a little swing tune called "It's the Water." It goes like this. They brew some
to Sweetwater down in Sweetwater, Texas, and the sounds of the jukebox blows my mind. Well, I seem to lose myself down in Sweetwater, Texas, in a honky tonk with a woman on my mind. It's the water. It's the water. Yeah. It's the water 'cause it says so on the can. It's the water. It's the water. Well, it's the water that's made me a honky tonk man. Texas, and happen to look up and read the signs. Well, it's cool inside and music sweet in Sweetwater, Texas, and you always find a girl that'll blow your mind. It's the water. It's the water, yeah. It's the water 'cause it says so on the can. It's the water. It's the water. Well, it's the water that's made me a honky tonk man. Well, it's the water that's made me a honky tonk man.
Thank you all very much.
Daryle McCall.
Appreciate you, Bill.
You can't fool that old boy with a waltz.
You couldn't fool him. He knows every waltz there is.
You know what's funny? Now, and Jim Ed, maybe you went through this because we came here about the same time. They used to tell us, say, don't write waltzes. That you'd take a song into somebody, like a producer, like Chet Atkins or Owen Bradley, and if it was a waltz, they'd say, well, the first thing you got to do is take it out of the waltz. But people love waltzes.
They do love waltzes.
I know, and I like to write in a waltz, don't you?
Oh, I do too.
It just
Was it-
it feels good when you're writing.
Yeah.
Was it Willie that wrote sad songs and waltzes?
Yeah.
Ain't selling this year, but they are.
Yeah, for some reason, they used to tell you, don't write waltzes, and would actually, you'd go in with a song, and they'd say, well, that's good, but don't let it be a waltz.
Yeah.
I think Jim Reeves may have changed that when he had all those waltz hits, and I think everybody said, well, okay.
I'd argue with him or Ernest Tubb, wasn't it, when it came to waltzes?
Well, if it's a great waltz, then it'll sell a lot of records. But if it's not a good waltz, it won't sell anything.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, there are some great waltzes out there. But then the ones that's not great, don't do them. Because they
Well,
won't,
you know, any songs like that, I guess.
They
A
won't
great
sell.
song is a great song.
they won't sell.
I want to ask, I'm not going to get into this right now, but I want to whet your appetite if you remember this place, because I want you to be thinking about it. You and I are probably the only people in the room, probably, I don't know. Did you ever play a place in Kansas City called Genova's Chestnut Inn?
I did.
Daryle is nodding, Jan's
did.
raising her hand. That is a whole segment of this show within itself. I will just set the stage by saying that they booked, if they were there every night, you'd go there for 6 nights, and you would share the stage or the billing with a stripper. Yes.
Yes.
And if you think that's not fun, honky-tonk music and strippers, stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll talk about that. Daryle Singletary grew up down in South Georgia. Now, what kind of honky-tonks were down there?
There was one place in Albany, Georgia, and I only went in it one time, was to enter a talent show. Yeah, that's all I needed, and I was hooked. But I grew up singing in church, in strict Southern Baptist, and going to a honky-tonk, which fortunately my folks have changed their opinion just a little bit. But it wasn't, what the honky-tonks that I grew up around was just like the Webster Dictionary described them. They were pretty rough and
I didn't need to be in there, Mom and Daddy think. So I got to go in there one time, though.
Did you ever run across an old boy down there that played, I think it was in Sylvester, Georgia, with a big dance band named Curtis Gordon?
Yeah.
Was
I've
Curtis
heard the
still
name.
around during
Heard the
your
name,
time
but
down?
that-
A lot
yeah.
of us knew Curtis at various times, but he started a little honky tonk thing over there in Sylvester, Georgia for years. And I popped in there a couple of times.
But now I moved to Nashville pretty much after graduating. I mean, I graduated high school and moved straight to Nashville and started getting my feet wet into honky tonks.
Folks threw you out?
Yeah, well, they kicked me out, yeah. After church, yeah.
Oh, man, you got that honky tonk sound in your voice. I would imagine that honky tonks pretty much feel like home to you when you get up in front of that microphone.
Oh, no doubt. I love them. They've been good to me.
They've been
So
good
what
to us.
Still are being
What
good.
happened to Curtis Gordon? What?
I think Curtis passed away, Ray, a few years ago. I think so.
You know, when I was in the Navy, WCMS in Norfolk, Virginia, you remember that station?
sure.
There was a big country music station. They hired him, and he came there and was a disc jockey for a while. That was back in middle 50s.
I didn't know that.
I wondered what ever happened to him.
Well, I tell you a little bit of history of Curtis Gordon. He went in the Army, and he followed Farron Young. When Farron had been at 3rd Army headquarters in Atlanta, he headed a country band called the Circle A Wranglers, and when Farron got out of the Army, came to Nashville, Curtis Gordon took over the Circle A Wranglers and toured a lot on behalf of the United States Army. You know who took over after Curtis Gordon? Roger Miller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's quite a history, and that was a good swinging little band. Jethro Burns' brother played in that band, and he was a great musician. Like Jethro. That's enough history.
Yeah.
Let's hear a song from
Sound
Daryle
like Eddie
Singletary.
Stubbs.
All right, we can do it. Here we go, fellas. They got a vintage Victrola in 1951, full of my favorite records that I grew up on. They got old Hank and Lefty and there's B-24. Set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. Set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. I'm gonna spend the night like every night before. Playing E.T., I'm gonna play him some more. I gotta have a shot of them old troubadours. Yeah, set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. Set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. All my neon neighbors ain't like what I play, 'cause they've heard it every night since you walked away. Every day they replace that old B-24, 'cause every night I run a needle through walking the floor. Every night I run a needle through walking the floor. Every night before, playing E.T., I'm gonna play him some more. I gotta have a shot of them old troubadours. Yeah, set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. Set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. I said, set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor. Set 'em up, Joe, and play walking the floor.
Daryle Singletary. Great job. Song written by our friend Buddy Cannon. Every time you got to that line about troubadours, Leon grinned over there.
Yeah.
He's singing about you, Leon.
The great troubadour.
I think aren't we going to do, somebody going to do Walking the Floor? Speaking of that, Tony's going to do it. All right. Great, when we come back. We got to take a little short break. We're honky-tonking on Country's Family Reunion.